Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the latest main series Pokemon games that, as of recording this, have yet to be released. With the new games on the way, all people can do is check out whatever information Nintendo has decided to give us. Lately, they've been giving out special trailers devoted towards brand new Pokemon. They've done this from having a nature documentary on a new Pokemon, to having a trainer encounter one, and even having one show up in Pokemon Go. And out of all of these, I think the one that reveals the most just may be the last one that I mentioned. The one that shows up in Pokemon Go. You see, one of the newest Pokemon they announced is known as Gimmighoul. This Pokemon loves coins, and while a cool Pokemon, it itself has nothing to do with the theory, but rather what happens in its trailer. When revealed to be in Pokemon Go, the person explaining the story about Gimmighoul isn't one of the professors like you would typically expect, but instead it is someone named Jacques, and this is where my theory comes into play. You see, I think the professors could end up being the bad guys, or even one of the villains in the game, and here's why. To start, when introducing a brand new Pokemon, who would talk about it with another professor? Well, the professor of the region would talk to another professor. That's just how things work. Yet, Nintendo decided not to do this, but okay, you could think, since there are two professors, one for each game, they didn't want to have to choose one professor or use two people. But why not? Why not have a conversation with three people and show off the new professors instead of some student at the academy? Unless, perhaps, the professors are actually evil. The next piece of evidence I would say is their design, and while it may be objective, I would say they actually look somewhat ominous, and they could totally end up being the villains of the story. Perhaps one wishes to go to the past, and the other wishes to go to the future, or back to the future, for some reason, and they need the legendary Pokemon. So, this would totally fit with the story in that sense, and since you can go down three separate storylines in the game, one of them having the professors as the bad guys would totally work out. But you may be wondering, what storyline would they even be a part of? That is, if we can even figure it out. But Nintendo has actually given that to us too. While there are very few lines of text, we have been able to see this from the professors. They say, quote, "I promise it will be an experience worth treasuring if you come," quote, which would reveal they would actually be in the treasure hunt. Now then, this may just be my opinion, but that seems like a very ominous thing to say. They could end up using the player to get whatever the treasure may be. It could end up being something that could help them get to the past or to the future, or even give them control of the legendaries so they could do something like go back to the past or future. Like perhaps take the legendary Pokemon from the trailer, and again, this would fit great with the story. Then, my next point is the fact that they are version exclusive. You may think, what does that have to do with anything? But I would say, it actually has a lot. The only other time we've really seen version exclusive characters who have had an actual impact on the story, unlike in Sword and Shield with the gym leaders, was all the way back in Ruby and Sapphire. Depending on what version you would get, there would be a different villain. So now then, it would make sense that Pokemon could be doing the same thing with version exclusive villains, but this time be hiding it, since we have seen this before. And those games were very successful. And finally, the icing on the cake actually comes from a Twitter post. And just hear me out for this. Twitter Gaming posted all the way back on June 1st a picture of the professors and said, "What do they do for a living? Wrong answers only." And the official Pokemon Twitter account replied with it, saying, they are Pokemon professors? The question said wrong answers only. Yet the official Pokemon company responded with Pokemon professors, implying they aren't Pokemon professors. So let me ask you, what are they? Because I think they're the bad guys. But that's just a speculation. A good speculation. Thanks for watching.